All right. So we talked a little bit about eagle being a position that has an upper and a lower body component. You guys have seen the eagle arms a lot in cool downs that I give you guys. We did the demo on what eagle arms look like. So now we're going to show you that full-blown eagle so that you can get a sense for what that's like. What eagle's really great for is compressing everything together and putting some pressure on all the joints, good pressure on all the joints. And when we hold it and then we get that release, that's that feeling that we love when we come out of eagle. But to get there, you've got to compress everything, so then when you come out of it, you feel a relaxation. So T's gonna pick a side. She's going to, ideally, probably you're gonna see this most coming into chair. So getting back into that chair posture, and pick one side, and let's bring that leg up. Yep, so she's gonna stair step one leg, which means she's shifting the weight onto that standing leg. This leg that she chose to lead off with, that's just off the ground, she's gonna start to bring up and cross over that standing leg. You can see she's trying to tuck her feet behind her shin. Tough to get there. You have to have a lot of that flexibility, but she's starting where she's at. You want to bend this knee just a smidge. So now she's got this leg bending, she's got this leg wrapped and over. So your right leg is on top, your right arm is going to be on the top, yeah. So now she's coming into the eagle arms that we've talked about. She's got the wrap, she's got elbow to elbow lock. She's trying to wrap those palms together, giving a wrist lock. She's got her knees wrapped around each other. She's got this ankle, ideally trying to wrap around this back shin. She's trying to get down a little bit deeper, but still keeping the chest up. You can come out of it. That is that full-blown eagle. When we do eagle, we are trying to work on trying to figure out the best leg to show you. I think it's gonna be this leg. We do ideally want to get that wrap around the calf, still keeping our chest upright, coming down, locking and squeezing everything together. All the joints are getting that good hug, and then they'll get that relaxation. That is eagle. All right, tree pose. So one of the best balance postures and one of the most accessible for most people is going to be tree pose, because where you can put your foot is a little bit different. You can get really fancy. You can do all kinds of standing head to knee and pigeons and all kinds of elevated everything, right? But we're looking at a simple balance posture that everyone can do at some point. So we're going to do tree pose. You see this a lot at the ends of practices. You're going to stand tall. She's going to take a deep breath, shift the weight onto one leg. So as you saw, she's shifting her weight onto her right. She's got her left leg coming out, and she's got this foot. So she's coming out, she's kind of making that, we call it the tree shape, right? But it's kind of like a backwards four in this case. She's got this knee driving out, it's bent. She's got this foot resting against her calf. So you can start, if you want to rest it right on the ground. So you can start here. She's got her foot kind of resting around her ankle. The bottom toes there are on the ground, giving her some stability. She can continue to make this a little bit more challenging, bring it up to her calf. Ideally, we want to skip the knee and bring it up to our thigh. When you're in your thigh position here, when that foot is on that thigh, there has to be a lot of engagement on both that standing leg and pushing against the standing leg. So the standing leg and that foot that's bent, they're going to kind of fight against each other. That's going to give you that stability in that stand. Your arms can be almost anywhere in this pose. They can be upright, they can be at heart center, they can be in reverse prayer, they can be bound. You can do a lot with your arms. You can move them. I often move them to test my balance. I'll wrap them, I'll do cow face, Lots of different things that you can do in a tree pose. If you're already up at that thigh and you think you've got good balance, the challenge in tree is to close your eyes and just see what happens. Just hang on for as long as you can. Believe it or not, it becomes incredibly hard to hold a long tree pose with your eyes closed. If you've got that and you're still ready for more, I don't know if I'm warmed up for this one. If you're still ready for more, you can start to do a back bend. So normally we're looking straight out, but if we are ready for more, we can start to back bend into this, and our gaze is going to go right up a wall, right into that seam joint, and eventually come right overhead. And that will give you a back bend in a tree pose. Can be tough. You have to be very slow and patient, but if you come out of it and you really want to work on it, keep trying. But there's different ways to elevate this one. And that is tree pose. All right, so before we do the sun salutations, I want to, again, talk about the difference between cobra, up dog, sphinx, and seal. Because that's often where we see people doing a great posture, but it's not necessarily the one that is called, right? So that's what we'll do. So we'll start with cobra, then we'll do up dog, then we'll do sphinx, and then we'll do seal. All right, so real quick, because this comes up a lot, we're gonna talk about the difference between cobra pose, the upward dog, sphinx, and seal. So if you wanna come down like you would for that cobra pose. So you can see T's here, she's on her belly, her legs are shooting out nice and long, everything's resting on the ground, her hands are underneath her shoulders. She is going to take an inhale and she's going to start to bring her neck and her head and her shoulder girdle up off the ground. Her legs are staying on the ground. Her toes are uncurled. She's on the tops of her feet. You can see she's lifted her hand slightly to give herself a little bit more of a challenge here. This is that cobra pose. Everything's on the ground except the shoulder girdle, the neck, and the head. And she's looking straight out in front of her towards the door here. So let's come into upward dog. So upward dog, which I think we demoed for you guys the other day. Shoulders, elbows, wrists, nice and stacked. Her thighs are off the ground. Her knees are off the ground. Her shins are off the ground. The tops of her feet are on the ground. She's got this nice curve here. She's pushing through her chest to get that chest open, shoulders away from the ears. Again, she's still looking out. This is that upward dog. So again, the difference is between being flat on the ground with only the shoulder girdle, head, and neck off the ground, or only having really your hands and the tops of your feet on the ground. Difference between cobra and up dog. Both are great, but they are different. So next up is sphinx pose. So sphinx starts out on your belly, just like so, just like you would, almost going into a cobra. The difference here, instead of your hands underneath your shoulders, your elbows are underneath your shoulders, and your hands are making that nice 11, nice railroad tracks, whatever method of remembering that you got. Here's something we haven't talked about a lot, but it makes a huge difference, and a couple of you might have heard me say this when we're in our handstand practice. She's got these starfish hands, we call them. All of her fingers are open and separated. I can jump between them all. Having those starfish hands in all of the poses where your hands are on the ground gives you more surface area. Your hands are typically smaller than your feet. You want to separate them and use them, so she's got them all separated. Do you feel like you have even distribution in the hands right now? Yeah, you're not like leaning on them or anything like that. This becomes really important when you start to put that weight on the hands. You want as much surface area as you can get. That'll really help you, especially in that handstand walk. So back to Sphinx pose. So she's nice and set, shoulders over elbows, her arms are out long, she's got those nice starfish hands. Again, belly, hips, thighs, toes are all on the ground. She's got her shoulder girdle up, driving that chest up, neck and head are in one direction facing the front. That is Sphinx pose. So seal pose is an extension of that. That's when you're gonna shoot those hands out long. So the difference between Sphinx and seal pose, you can see her elbows are no longer underneath her shoulders. She's got a nice line between shoulder, elbow, wrist here, nice extension, which is giving her deeper back bend. So now, I don't know that you guys can really see, but her belly is off the ground now. Whereas in Sphinx and Cobra, the belly was on the ground. Now she's up and off. She's got a much deeper bend. You're driving, you can feel the pressure from driving through your hands to keep that upper body upright, right? You want to have a wider foot, especially in seal and Sphinx pose, to help take the pressure off that low back. But those are the differences between the Cobra, the upward dog, the Sphinx, and the seal. They're all great, but they are all different, so you are gonna feel different things in your body.